Hey everyone, my name's Jacob, and I need to get something off my chest. It's something that happened last year, and it's haunted me ever since. It was the middle of the school year, and our teacher, Mr. Thompson, announced that we had this huge math test coming up. You could feel the collective groan from the class, but beneath the complaints, a wave of anxiety was brewing. My friends and I were no exception. We weren't ready for it at all. That's when Kevin, the brain of our group, came up with a wild plan. He suggested we break into the school at night and steal the test answers. At first, I thought he was joking. Breaking into the school? It seemed crazy. But as Kevin detailed his plan, it started to seem almost doable. There were 4 of us: Kevin, Mike, Ryan, and me, Jacob. Kevin was the kind of guy who could pick any lock, which gave us an edge. The plan was to break in at 10 p.m. when the school was deserted. We knew it was risky, but the thought of acing the test without the hours of studying was too tempting. The night of the heist, I was a bundle of nerves. We met at the old playground near the school, trying to keep our voices low. Kevin arrived last, carrying his lockpicking kit like it was no big deal. We sneaked to the back entrance of the school, our footsteps crunching softly on the gravel. Kevin got to work on the lock, and within minutes, we were in. The school was eerily quiet, and the darkness made it feel like we were in a horror movie. We started our search in the principal's office. We rifled through drawers and cabinets, but found nothing. Next, we moved to the staff room, hoping to get lucky there. Again, nothing. The tension was building, and I could feel my heart pounding in my chest. We decided to split up to cover more ground. Ryan and I took the west wing, while Kevin and Mike headed to the east wing. Ryan and I checked every classroom, opening desks and searching through teachers' bags. Still, no luck. Then we heard it, a faint noise coming from down the hall. It sounded like someone moving around. We froze, exchanging terrified looks. Slowly, we crept toward the source of the noise, our footsteps echoing in the empty hallways. As we approached the janitor's closet, we saw a light flickering from under the door. Ryan nudged me, and I knew we had to check it out. I slowly turned the handle and peeked inside. My heart nearly stopped. There, rummaging through cleaning supplies, was a hooded figure wearing a mask. I couldn't see his face, but I could feel his presence. It was menacing. We backed away quietly, not wanting to attract his attention. We needed to find Kevin and Mike and get out of there. We turned to leave, but the floor creaked under Ryan's weight. The masked figure snapped his head towards us. Panic surged through me as we bolted down the hallway, the sound of our footsteps echoing like a drum beat. We found Kevin and Mike in the library, and they could see the fear in our eyes. We quickly explained what we saw, and without wasting a second, we decided to leave. As we headed for the exit, we heard footsteps behind us. They were getting closer. We ran faster, my lungs burning with every breath. We made it to the back entrance, but Kevin stopped dead in his tracks. "Where's Mike?" he asked. I looked around, realizing Mike was missing. The footsteps behind us had stopped, replaced by an eerie silence. We couldn't go back for him. It was too dangerous. We had to get out and call the police. "Mike!" Kevin called out in a harsh whisper. "Mike, where are you?" Then, from down the hall, we heard Mike's voice. "Help! He's coming!" Mike was sprinting toward us, and behind him, the hooded figure was gaining ground. "Run!" I shouted, and we all took off again, the adrenaline pumping through our veins. As we ran, I glanced back and saw the figure closing in on Mike. Mike was fast, but the figure was relentless. He reached out and grabbed Mike's backpack, yanking him backward. Mike screamed, thrashing to break free, but the figure held him tight. "No!" Ryan shouted, skidding to a stop. We watched in horror as the figure wrestled Mike to the ground, covering his mouth to muffle his screams. "Help me!" Mike's muffled cries were heart-wrenching, but there was nothing we could do. The figure was too strong, too determined. Kevin grabbed my arm. "We have to go, now!" he urged, his voice shaking. "But Mike," I started, my voice trembling. "We can't help him if we're caught too," Kevin insisted. "We need to get out and call for help." With tears streaming down my face, I nodded. We turned and ran out of the school, the sounds of Mike's struggle fading behind us. We reached the nearest payphone and called 911, my hands shaking so badly I could barely dial. Within minutes, the police arrived and entered the school, but there was no sign of Mike or the masked figure. The next morning, there was an emergency assembly. The principal, Mr. Bradley, was on stage, visibly shaken. Tears streamed down his face as he spoke. "Last night, my son, Mike Bradley, went missing," he said, his voice cracking. "The police are investigating, but we have no leads." My stomach churned. Mike was the principal's son, and now he was gone. The police searched for days, but there were no clues, no traces. It was like he vanished into thin air. The search was eventually called off, and life at school went back to normal. But for me, nothing would ever be the same.